In today's video, we're going to talk about the signs of high-value woman. Now, usually this is discussed in the context of relationships with others, but I want to talk about it through the lens of the relationship that you have with yourself. In my opinion, it is the most important relationship that you can have because it informs the way that you show up in the world, right? Your worldview and your experiences and the opinion that you have of yourself determines who you are being when other people are around you, and also who you are being when you are all alone and no one sees you. My name is Tertia, and on this channel we talk about self-worth and self-love, feminine energy and femininity. We talk about all the ways in which you can access and stand in your own personal power. And if that is something that sounds interesting to you, then I invite you to join our community and subscribe, and also make sure that you hit the bell. And this way you'll get notified of my new videos every week. All right, so without any further ado, let's get straight into the signs of a high value woman. And I have 3 signs that I want to share with you in no particular order. Sign number 1 is a high value woman knows how to enforce her own boundaries. So boundaries are the things that we are okay with. All right. It's the way that we allow others to speak to us and to treat us. It's our ability to say no when things don't feel right. And it really is how we stand up for ourselves within ourselves. So often we have these boundaries, but we struggle to enforce them. All right. So you might find that with certain people, it's quite easy for you to uphold a certain boundary, but with other people, it's more difficult. And also things like your state of mind, your level of tiredness or your level of energy, and also kind of the things that have been going on internally for you determines your ability to be able to enforce these boundaries. So we talk a lot about boundaries with people out there, but we don't really speak much of the boundaries that we have within ourselves. And we have like an inner threshold, I want to call it, of what we will allow for ourselves and of ourselves as well. And often we break our own boundaries, or we step over our own boundaries when we go against our own decisions. And how this could play out is you could potentially, let's say that you decide that you want to make more time for yourself. So you want to maybe have more time to read a book or go for a walk. But what you do instead is you keep on finding other things to do. So you're pushing the time that you want to give to yourself, you keep on pushing that away. And then when you finally get to read your book, or you finally get to go for that walk, you don't enjoy it as much as you want to. So in the act of overstepping your own boundaries or crossing your own boundaries, you are reducing your pleasure experience. And that's what happens when we break our own boundaries. So a high value woman knows what her boundaries are, and she's able to enforce them not only with people out there, but also her own inner boundaries. She puts her self-care first, she puts self-validation first, and she's really very clear on what is important and how to say yes or no to the things that either make her feel good or not. The second sign of a high-value woman is that they embrace and show their vulnerability. Now, I really like Brené Brown's work on shame and vulnerability and wholehearted living. And while her work is not mine to teach, I want to borrow from her the term wholeheartedness. Because in my mind, a woman who is a high-value woman is one who lives wholeheartedly. Being vulnerable takes a lot of courage. We fear that others will reject us. We fear that if we show our true selves and who we really are, that people will stop loving us. So we hide those parts of ourselves that we think are shameful. And we hide and deny our thoughts and our feelings that we think are bad. And the more we hide ourselves, the further we move away from wholehearted living. And if we look at this suppression of our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions through the lens of feminine embodiment, the more we suppress these shameful parts of ourselves, the more we deny our own vulnerability, the more we lock in and shut down our life force energy. So the way to being a high value woman to me is to use the words of Brene Brown in a book. It's to dare greatly, to be courageous enough and to take those parts of yourself and show them to the world. And then our final sign number 3, is a high value woman is confident. So a theme that I see often in my coaching is many women especially feel that a kind of resistance against being confident because of the way that confidence is portrayed in the world. So a lot of times things like aggression and arrogance is seen as being confident. And that is not really confidence. That's false bravado. So a confident woman, a high value woman, she knows that who she is, exactly as she is enough. So the secret to being a confident woman is you have to have strong boundaries that you can enforce, and you have to have the courage to be vulnerable. So I want to share with you a practical exercise now. Create your own definition of what it means for you to be confident. So if you were confident, and do some free writing about this, if you were confident, how would you stand? How would you hold yourself? How would your energy feel? How would you dress? How would you speak? How would you look at others? What would you sound like? What posture would you take? And then once you've done some free writing around this, then play out this role a little bit and try it on for yourself. So act as if you are this woman that you've just written about on your note or in your notebook. And most importantly, allow yourself to feel like this woman. And I'd like to know your experience, so share with me in the comments below if you've done this activity and how it was for you. So these 3 things that I shared with you really are the tip of the iceberg, and there are definitely many more things that will make you a high value woman. But to me, boundaries, vulnerability, and self-confidence is foundational in order for you to stand strongly in your own personal power as a high value woman. So I'd love to know your thoughts and your ideas about what I've shared with you. Please let me know in the comments. Also, if you still haven't subscribed, then I warmly invite you to join us and to subscribe. Share this video with anyone who you think might find it helpful. If you enjoyed it, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.